Have you ever wondered what happens to your water when it goes down the drain? Or when you flush your toilet and that goes down the drain? If you're like most of us, you haven't given it a second thought. You flush it and you forget it. It's gone, it's over. But for the people who work here at the wastewater treatment plant in Brookings, it's just the beginning. Hi, I'm Candace Michelle, and I'm here at the wastewater treatment plant in Brookings. Come on, let's go take a tour. In 1912, John E. Brookings bought a sawmill and railroad on the north side of the Chetco River. The town that grew up became known as Brookings. The original sanitary sewers were constructed shortly thereafter in 1916. The city of Brookings has operated a wastewater treatment plant on Chetco Point since the early 1950s. The system provided only primary treatment until the early 1970s when a trickling filter was added. In 1976, the harbor area south of the city formed a sanitary district and began pumping wastewater to the city's collection system for treatment and disposal. The 1990 improvements to the plant included upgrading the preliminary, primary, and secondary treatment processes, as well as the chlorination system and the plant outfall. The 1999-2000 facility upgrade doubled the number of many unit processes and added a mechanical bar screen, grit unit, primary clarifier, secondary clarifier, and aeration basin. The upgrade also added an ultraviolet disinfection system, a snail chamber, new solids handling and storage units, and a new operations and admin building. Currently, the City of Brookings wastewater system consists of gravity flow collection with 12 pump stations and a treatment plant which protects the coastal Pacific Ocean environment by removing pollutants from the wastewater and disinfecting it with ultraviolet light to kill pathogenic organisms before discharging it into the ocean. The solids removed in the treatment process are picked up by Curry Transfer and Recycling and trucked to White City. The following is a tour of the wastewater treatment plant located at Chetco Point in Brookings, Oregon.
Candace!
Hey Ray, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm excellent. Good to see you.
It was nice seeing you.
So Ray, here we are at this amazing facility on a gorgeous day.
Couldn't beat it.
I know, I love it. So can you give us sort of an overview of what the wastewater system looks like?
In a nutshell?
Yeah.
Okay. We get our drinking water from the Chetco River, is what the common conception is. It's actually an aquifer underneath the Chetco.
Okay.
Pulls up out of the rainy collector, comes to the water plant,
Okay.
gets treated, disperses throughout the system underground to all the reservoirs via piping and pumps.
Okay.
At that point, people get to use it. Yards, cars, bathrooms, sinks, and whatever doesn't go out into the yard, as far as lawn and gardens, naturally, it goes into the sinks, the tubs, the commodes, and ends up underground to the sewer system. From that point, it all travels downhill from there. You know, it ends up at lift stations and gets pumped to the beginning of our plant, where we have quite an involved treatment process to take care of it.
So is storm drain water the same as wastewater?
No.
Sewer water? No.
No.
Okay.
I think you're wondering about the storm water system.
Okay.
All the different little grates you see along the curbs and gutters, sidewalks.
Right. And they're not the same.
No, that is just runoff from the rain. Ends up getting collected to a whole other system of pipes that end up flowing gravity to natural waterways where it can go back to nature.
Okay. Because we always just said sewers when I was growing up, and that meant everything, and that was,
No,
No, not at all.
we don't want rain coming in, to our system.
Right.
And then we end up with a whole lot more volume than we would normally have.
Yeah, not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Now, this facility has been upgraded, and I think it was just recently that the big stuff went across the street. What was that?
That was the final product of the solids. There are Class B biosolids. Now, we were trucking it in 5,800 gallon amounts at a time, up to 4 times a day during the summer to Grants Pass.
Oh my.
Yeah, which meant these tanker trucks get loaded here. They'd go up 199 right next to that pristine river all the way to Grants Pass to their Joe Grow facility, where the city of Grants Pass would take care of further processing.
Now, what happens to it?
Now we have that new FKC screw press that will remove 80% more of the water than what we were sending before, and ends up as a pretty much a semi-solid, and it goes to the local transfer site, where at that point it ends up at the White City landfill, where they have a methane production plant. And so it ended up with another beneficial use.
And I would imagine that this is so much more cost efficient for us.
Oh, absolutely. 1 to 2% of liquid,
Right.
compared to, we're removing another 80% of that liquid, taking it to solids. Plus you have the environmental concerns, which kept me up a few times that night
imagine.
worrying about.
Now, how much is this plant valued at?
I believe that it's around 30 million.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Oh, definitely an investment.
Well, let's go take a look at this, shall we?
Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the beginning.
Right on.
Okay, this is where everything comes, right? This is the beginning?
This is the beginning of the treatment plant.
And what is that?
That,
It looks kind of yucky.
It's very yucky. That is the screenings compactor.
Okay, and what does it do?
It compacts the screenings, which are accumulated right there.
Okay, so let's go take a look at this.
Are you sure you want to?
I'm not sure, but okay, so talk to me about this.
This is where the whole sewer system enters the plant. It's amazing the stuff that people will think is okay to flush down their toilet. There are things that accidentally get into the sewer system. And this right here is our first attempt to prevent all that stuff that should not be in the sewer system from entering the plant.
Well, like what kind of stuff?
Oh my, you can have anything from rocks or sand that have entered the system, say off the streets and stuff, to all of those so-called flushable wipes that even though the box says they're flushable.
Yeah, what do you mean? I mean, if it says right there on the box, it's not?
Well, see right there, you've got this thing in action. No, the marketing campaign might say they're flushable, but they can cause a lot of damage to equipment, and they can have a potential environmental impact.
So what happens to them when they get into the system that can cause problems?
Well, I recently had to completely replace a pump because of repeated baby wipes and what appeared to be Swiffers or dust, little handy dust wipes, kept on combining up like a newspaper. You roll up, that you can tear that thing real easy one by one. You roll it up, try breaking it. Well, that stuff's going to get wrapped up in a pump, and I've actually got a replacement pump over there now from one that fried. It was, in fact, that was a little one, and it costed me upwards of $7,000.
Oh my word.
That was just a little guy. I think it was 2.5 horsepower.
So you shouldn't put Swiffers down the toilet. You shouldn't put baby wipes down the toilet. You probably shouldn't put wet ones down the toilet. You shouldn't put paper towels down the toilet.
Nope.
What should you put down the toilet?
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Wow.
That's it.
That's it.
But as any parent can attest, children can put a lot of things down into a sewer system.
True. That's so true. Now, what about the grease that people pour down the kitchen sink? I know people do that.
Well, everybody has this misconception that if they're over here and they're pouring their bacon grease or the oils or stuff, hey, it's melted when you pour it in the sink. Well, yeah, it's melted. It's warmed up. But as soon as it exits their house, it hits the normal cooler temperatures and starts thickening back up. And in fact, I've got some really good examples I can show you out in the system of thickened up grease. In fact, there was recently an article in World News, it was somewhere over there in Europe, where they had discovered a 15-ton ball of grease and rags.
In their sewer system?
In their sewer system.
Holy smokes.
Because of safe flushable products.
So you can actually flush them. It's just what happens to the sewer system when you do.
Right, because you're going to destroy equipment. It's going to cause extra wear. It can cause plugs. And if you get plugs, we all know what happens when a sewer backs up.
Yes, we do. Well, this is probably one of the more fragrant areas to be here.
Absolutely.
So I'd be really happy to move along.
It's so odoriferous.
Yes, it is. Let's go to the next phase.
All right, we'll head over to the grit separation.
Excellent. So what are we standing in front of right now?
This is a cyclone degritter unit. It helps to separate some of the heavier solids like grit, from the rest of the waste stream.
All right, now how do you define grit?
Grit's rather ambiguous. It's sand, dirt, gravel, seeds.
Huh.
A lot of people, naturally wash seeds down their sink. If they're heavy enough, they'll sink.
Huh. And how, if it's like dirt and sand and stuff, how does it get into the system?
It can come in off of, holes in the manhole lids or cracks in sewer pipes we haven't discovered yet.
Okay. Okay.
Various,
so
various
this
routes.
separates the grit out so that the system doesn't get damaged.
Correct, because just like anything else, you run dirt, sand, or gravel, or heavy things like that through pumps, and it's going to cause a problem.
Ouch.
Right.
All right, next stop is what?
I think maybe we should look at the primary clarifiers.
All right, where is that?
It is right there.
Well, let's go then.
Ooh, and there's a flight right now coming up. You can see that flight moving.
I'm sorry, what am I looking at?
See that bar? You'll notice that it's moving very slowly right there.
Okay. Oh, okay. And okay, so what's it doing?
That is, other than playing with dragonflies,
Yes.
what they are doing is they're going all the way from one side of the basin to the other, scraping any of the settled solids that they can over to here.
I see. Huh. So that's clean water?
No,
That's dirty water.
that is still sewer. It's
Okay.
It's just getting a lot of the heavier stuff removed.
Okay.
There's an example of some of the heavier stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yucky. Okay, what is the next step in this wonderful process?
Well, we could walk down to the end of these primary clarifiers, and I can
Let's do
show
it.
you how good the first part of the process is doing.
Excellent. So theoretically, it's getting clearer as we move down, right?
Yes.
I am learning so many things that I never knew I even wanted to know. What is this channel thing?
This is just a way of, further separating the solids.
Okay.
It makes it so that way there's no direct currents, going from one end to the other. And, that would carry solids with it. Anybody who's seen where a stream enters the beach
Right.
can understand how that would work.
Right.
These weirs, that's what those are.
These are weirs. Okay.
Yes, they help prevent short circuiting in the water.
I don't understand.
Short circuiting is where if it just came in one end, went right out the other. This
Okay.
makes it so it's coming in evenly throughout the whole basin.
It certainly does look cleaner down here than it did up there.
All right,
But I wouldn't call it clean.
no,
No.
it is still sewer.
Still sewer. We're following the solids at this point. So where's the next step for the solids?
The solids, they got collected over there
Yep.
in that sump I told you about. I
Yep.
can show you an overhead view of the pumping system that's underneath that concrete.
All right, let's go look at that. So what do we have here?
Our fish pond.
No, come on. What is it?
It used to be the primary clarifier a long, long time ago before those existed.
You're kidding. Because those are so much bigger and wow. Okay.
Town grew.
Yeah. Wow. So there used to be fish in here?
There were up until a few weeks ago. My predecessor had put a bunch of goldfish in here just to prove that they could grow, and they did. We had some rather large ones, but I haven't seen any since our otter took up residence.
You have an otter?
I haven't seen them. I think the buffet closed.
Oh my God.
I had operators tell me on 2 different occasions that a sea otter came traipsing right through the front gate, decided to make this the residence. I got some good pictures of it when it was here.
That's hilarious.
It was. You
That's
know,
hilarious.
At some point,
So
I guess we'll need some new goldfish.
Is this sewer water?
No, this water is rainwater or and recycled water.
Okay.
You know, if it starts getting really low, you know, we'll sometimes add a little bit of water from the recycled system
Okay.
into it. But no, any water that's in there is not sewer per se.
It's amazing when you look at this, how far this facility has come. I mean, this is pretty primitive compared to those tanks over there.
I have pictures on the wall there in the offices where the trickling filter unit used to be, about the same ground level as these other around here, and it was old style. It was full of rock.
Wow.
Which some places apparently still have in operation.
Wow. Okay, next.
What we do to get rid of those solids on a periodic basis, usually Monday through Friday, is they get pumped over to here for a short period of time. We add a polymer through a little chemical feed pump to help the solids bind up, where we can remove the water, most of the water, say roughly 94% of the water, from those solids before they get pumped up into the big digester right here.
And what is this called?
This is the gravity belt thickener. It's
Well,
the first part of our thickening
Let's
process.
go take a look at it.
Now hold your nose.
Okay.
You can see right there. You can see where it has come up after the polymer has been activated with it. You can tell that there's a lot of separation already happening. Right here,
Right.
as you can see, as it progresses, more and more of that, the clear liquid, is coming out of it. That clear liquid right there used to be part of the solids.
Wow.
What you saw earlier in the process, back at the aeration basins, is a much different color.
Certainly is.
This is where it comes in, drops into a hopper, and there's a little pump that sends it up, shoots it through that wall, and right into the digester.
Wow. Let's go see the digester. Hey, so Ray, what is this we're standing in front of?
That is the digester.
Digester. What does a digester do?
It processes a lot of stuff, but before we go into that, why don't we head up on top and you can check out one heck of a view.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Let's go. So Ray, here we are on top of the digester.
That's right.
What an amazing place. And the view is to die for.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to come check out your process once in a while,
And
is
what's
it?
behind us?
You have Chetco Point back there. You have the part of Chetco Point Park over there behind the facilities. Over that way you have Swag Rock.
Absolutely gorgeous, and it couldn't be a prettier day.
Oh, I was out fishing over there recently, and there was a whale that decided to tease me by within 40 feet, just sitting there blowing back and forth.
I love that. So what is this thing over here?
This right over here is a rotary valve for gas injection. You know, part of what we do is we take the methane that's produced and it comes up through this little spider type assembly. What it does is it will turn on a periodic basis and inject the gas back into the inside of the digester to help with the mixing. As you can see, there's a whole network of pipes here. And before you were just...
it was this intricate. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
Most people don't have any idea.
No.
If you look around, you can see that all these pipes that were just pipes, you can see where the different areas that it's being injected into.
Excellent. All right, let's go see more.
You'd asked about the tanks.
Yeah.
Well, from the digester, it goes into these two tanks individually until they get to a certain level, and then they're pumped across the street.
These look very similar to that tank. Were they once digesters?
They were.
Wow. Obviously when Brookings was a much smaller community.
Much smaller.
All right, well, let's walk across the street and see what we can see.
Let's. Welcome to my Biosolids.
So we were talking about the holding tanks when we were over there, and you showed me the two smaller tanks. This must be the big tank across the street.
This is the biggie, 2 million gallons.
Wow. So the solids basically are pumped through tubes that run underneath here into this tank here.
Correct.
And they get held here for how long?
Until they're processed further. This is the Class B biosolids. This was the final step before it got sent to Grants Pass in those tankers.
Oh, okay.
And now it's the second to last step.
Okay. So then the trucks would stop here, load this stuff up, and go over 199.
Right here.
Wow. Well, let's see the improved step.
Right this way.
Okay. Well, Ray, what do we have here?
This is an FKC screw press. The main working part of it's behind those doors, but as you can hear, it's running, so I won't be opening those doors at the moment.
What would happen if you did?
We'd get very wet with very stinky stuff.
We don't want that.
No.
So
no.
there is a screw press? Is that
Yes, on the other side of this, there's our chemicals and our little chemical feed unit.
Okay.
What it does is it injects the chemicals right here at the bottom of this pipe where the biosolids is going up.
Okay.
It gets mixed in with the chemicals there where there's paddles and then flows into this part. Right here is where the liquid is draining out of it, and as it progresses toward the end, more and more liquid is removed and it starts compressing further until it ends up in that room over there, which you can see.
Well, let's go take a look.
You're gonna like this.
I'm sure I will.
That right there is the final product. That is basically what you've seen everywhere else in the plant. It's the solids. Coming into that press is probably 1%. What we were seeing out in the aeration basins was probably 1/5 of 1%.
Solid.
Correct.
Wow.
This product right here is probably about 20% solids.
And yet it looks solid. Solid.
Right?
It does.
I know, but it's 80% water.
Wow. So this is the product that will get trucked to White City.
Correct.
And to upgrade to a Class A is just too expensive.
Astronomical.
Yeah, too expensive. Although, man, I feel like I want to just take a shovel and put this into my garden.
Well, I can show you that if it was approved, it wouldn't be that hard to do. You know, you can see that
Oh, wow.
it's
Yeah.
not very liquidy.
No, it's not. And it's so ready to go in the ground.
Right there, that
Oh, yeah.
it's got that. That's where the polymer has given it a little bit more
Right.
of a jello-like
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah. That's
Class B
great.
Biosolids is approved for hay fields and rangeland grazing. It's not approved for food substances. In fact, anywhere that Class B Biosolids is applied, you're not allowed to have any type of habitat, be it human or animal, on it for a minimum of 30 days after the last time it's been applied.
That makes sense.
It has to be a year before you're allowed to grow food crops on that ground again, if I remember that part correctly. Whereas Class A, as I said, is no different than what you would buy down at the local store in a bag.
Right.
You put it on and it's good right now because it's been pasteurized,
Right.
heat treated.
Well, Ray, thank you so much. This has just been a delightful experience. I mean, it really has taught me so much that I didn't even know that I didn't really want to know.
And just think, all we've done is brushed the edge of it.
Yeah,
There's so much more involved than what we've covered.
yeah. So you must have to take classes, or, I mean, you have to do something to be qualified to do this work.
Yeah, you know, quite a bit.
As I noticed you had some diplomas or certificates on your wall.
Those are my state certifications, yes.
Excellent.
I started pretty green into this. I've got some, well, most operators started with no prior knowledge, and they start out as assistants or operators in training, and they move up from there. I started in this field, I started training in '98. Right now I've got a grade 4 wastewater treatment in Oregon, which is the highest Oregon gets. I have a grade 3 wastewater collections, which is basically all of the pump stations and Public Works. They take care of the lines underneath the ground. On the other side, I have you know, the water treatment and the water distribution and the filter endorsements. And I don't know, those, I had to go sit in a room to take state tests a dozen times or so.
Wow, wow. Well, I'm really pleased because I feel like, you know, you've got a tremendous responsibility, and I can't think of somebody I'd rather have taking care of it than you.
You flatter me.
I know. Thank you, Ray. Thank you very much.
All right, you have a good one.
You do.
Now don't forget to wash your hands.
No, I'm going to do that right now. Thanks for joining us on this tour of the wastewater treatment plant of Brookings, Oregon. We watched how the wastewater came into the facility, how the solids got separated out and went one place, and the liquids got separated out and went to a different place to get purified. What we did was we followed the solids to see how they were turned into Class B biosolids, which are trucked out by Curry Transfer and Recycling to White City. In our next segment, we'll follow the water as it gets purified until it's clean enough to be pumped out into the ocean, cleaner than the ocean water itself. If you need more information, go to the website, www.brookings.or.us. And join us the next time when we follow the liquids. Thanks.